Right, welcome to this Tau Tactics and Unit Showcase video. It's for the XV88 Broadsides. It's a unit that I've had in my Tau army pretty much right from the start. There's various combinations. This is going to be an interesting video, this one, because there's different combinations you can go for, different loadouts, different tactics you can use for them. Here, I'm going to show you the configurations that I use, and I'll sort of talk about why I use those combinations. We'll talk about different tactics, enhancements you can grant, upgrades and so on, just to get the most out of this important unit. I think it's an important unit for the Tau army. I love the models, I think they look great. One of the bigger battlesuit army, one of the bigger battlesuit units, and just able to carry a heavy amount of firepower. But as to how effective it is, we'll discuss it here in this video. But first thing we'll do is we'll show you the models. So I have this combination here. This is the heavy rail rifle combination. Gone for double plasma on here as well. Got a bit of a controversial choice, but that's the combination I've gone for with these two. I do have a third one as well, but my current list is running two of these here. The other option, an option that's dropped in and out of my army, is this option here. It's the missile variation. It does look very cool though, bristling with these missiles. They really do look good. What I'm going to do here, before we talk about tactics, I'm going to zoom in so you can take a nice close look at these models. So this is the missile variant here. Just does look very cool. There's that one. And then this one here. So these are high yield missile pods. And this is smart missile systems here. Double smart missile system, double high yield missile pod. 8 shots here, 8 shots here, 16 shots from this model. And then also you can add in that it can carry a Seeker missile as well for 5 points. Does look cool, that carrying an extra missile on the back. And a lot of games previously I never carried the Seeker missile upgrade, but I just added it on because it just looks very cool. And it's something you could easily magnetize. Anyway, but that's the combination there. And the other combination is this one here. It's the heavy rail rifle. See the double barreled here, it's 2-shot weapon, much longer range and more sort of anti-tank sort of D6 kind of damage. Then you can go for smart missile system. I went for double plasma here to provide a bit of anti-heavy infantry firepower. And then again you can go for your Seeker missile on there. So if you like the way these models have come out, then I think it's this model here. On this channel there is the Tau painting tutorial, and I'll show you from start to finish how to paint one of these broadsides. So all the techniques that you see here, all the chipping, the weathering, the transfers, how to paint the base, all of that is covered in that painting tutorial. It gives you all the full details and you can follow it along and generate results like this. And you can swap the colours around. I went for orange as a nice spot colour here, but you can easily change that around and still follow that technique along. And then for sort of plasma weaponry and for like the fusion blasters and the reactor areas here, these pipes, I did it in this nice ice blue kind of colour as well, just to create a bit of another colour introduced into this model. But I like the way the Tau have come out here, very happy with this colour combination. So check out the painting tutorial to see how it's done. On the Plus channel, the link is in the description below. There is the in-depth painting tutorial for the Tau. It's already uploaded on there. And I'll show you from start to finish how to paint a bigger model. It's the Storm Surge. And so that massive unit, I'll show you how to paint that in that in-depth painting tutorial there. And all of the hints and tips for that bigger, tougher project I cover in that video as well. So what we'll do is we'll zoom back out here. We'll take a look at the entry now in the current codex here for the Tau Empire. So we'll just push these to the side. So that's the colour scheme I've gone for. I do have to say that the original Tau Homeworld colour scheme, this colour scheme here, is probably my favourite to be honest. I'm not so keen on the white. It's alright, the colour scheme they have. But the old Tau colour scheme, yeah, they mostly showcase the current white colour scheme here, but this colour scheme, now it doesn't look particularly great in, it's on a Fireblade here as well, it doesn't look particularly great in the book, but whenever I've seen it, you know, I've been to a Games Workshop store or I've seen someone with an army painted that colour scheme, it always looks fantastic, always looks brilliant. So that would have been an option to paint, but I've gone for the grey colour scheme there. It's very quick, relatively, compared to other techniques I've got. It's very quick, and so if you want to follow that tutorial and to get those results, it's pretty quick going. It's giving you an idea of what a tower army should look like. So broadsides then, they are a heavy support option. So up here, the XV88 broadside. And I think these are a bargain. I think they're very, points-wise, I think they're very efficient in points. So this is a type of unit, you're not going to be moving around much around the board. The aim for these is to plant them somewhere in a nice commanding position and then just to fire for as many turns as possible. So you wanted to keep the opponent away from them, either by trying to reach them in close combat. If they are reached in combat and they pull out, they're not allowed to shoot, because they're not like regular crisis battlesuits that have the fly keyword where they can pull out and fire at targets. These guys, if they're contacted, they have to walk out and they'll not be able to shoot. So the idea is to keep the opponent away from them, either stopping them from charging or from getting too close with nasty firepower. Because they have 6 wounds, but, if you melt rounds or las cannon rounds, and then they're gone. So trying to keep them alive. Strength 5, toughness 5. They do have a 2-up save, so most bolter fire, regular infantry firepower, 2-up save, very, very tough to try and remove them that way. And even -1 damage come through, still a 3-up save. And if you plonk them in cover, because they count as, no, maybe not, battlesuit, broadside battlesuits. They're not infantry as such, so I don't think they're going to get the benefit of cover. So still, that 2-up save is very good. Even a las cannon hit, still going to get a 5-up save. So that 2-up save really does offer them some decent protection. But I'll talk about some tactics that are massively help these. They really do. So the first option, I've got both here. The first option then is the heavy rail rifle. Range 60, so the range is fantastic. It's heavy 2, so you get 2 shots. That's good because these guys are hitting on 4+. If you're getting 2 shots, then there's a good chance you're going to hit with 1. You should hit with 1 shot. Chance of hitting with 2, but quite unlikely. When you do hit that strength 8, the freeze to wound most vehicles is going to be 4s against things like even Russes though, Bane Blades. The AP is -4, which is excellent. You're going to bypass most armor, you're going to go straight through to damage, and it's D6 damage. And then any 6s to wound, 6 or more, it is a mortal wound as well. So it's a nasty enough weapon if you can get your hit and your wound. So that's the sort of the obstacles you've got to cross. You try and accurately hit your target and then try and wound. So benefits to help with that is the there's a number of benefits. I'll show you the benefits that I use to try and get the most. No matter how good your weapon is, if you miss, it's not going to do anything. You've got to try and get your hits. So the first thing I tried to do is the Ethereal. It's cheap. It affects infantry and battlesuit units, which these broadsides are battlesuits when you invocate the elements. Then I choose Storm of Fire, reroll hit rolls of 1. In the shooting phase, for affected units that remain stationary. So these guys are designed to remain where they are. So if they remain still, you can reroll 1s. For free. So just by using that. So that's a benefit I like to go for. Other times, I'll try and marker light the target. Reroll hit rolls of 1. That's for 1 marker light hit. I'll then try and get 2 or more marker light hits, and then I can make use of the missiles here. The Seeker missiles, which can be fired with non-ballistic skill. So that helps. Another big help, massive help to hitting the target is taking a velocity tracker. Add 1 to your hit rolls for velocity tracker when it shoots units that can fly. So that's all your flyers, assault marines, jet bikes, wave serpents, all of that stuff has the fly keyword and it's on +1 to hit. So all of a sudden 2 shots needed for each to hit. Re-rolling 1s all of a sudden becomes very accurate firepower. That's all about trying to get your hits. So those little benefits. And the velocity tracker is 10 points usually for Ghost Kill, Riptide and Storm Surge, but for all other models, which is them, it's only 2 points. So it is well worth taking that. You're allowed to take it. Any model may take 1 item from the support systems list. You do have that slot available, so I take the velocity tracker. That was a subscriber suggestion mentioning you must take velocity trackers, and so I've done that recently, and it's helped a lot. Points costs, by the way, is about 124 points. So, you know, costing less than a regular battle tank, so pretty efficient on points. I think they're a bargain for the damage potential they can do. So that's the main gun, and I'd fire these at monsters, vehicles, all designed to knock wounds down. Firing at other enemy battle tanks is the key with these. That's what I try and use them for. Now, I take the Seeker Missile. So your options then, for this combination, I've gone for the plasma rifles. It's a cheaper option to take. Range 24, rapid fire 1, strength 6, -3 and 1 damage. So the reason why I've stuck with these, you take 2 of them, it's double plasma. So you're either at 2 shots, or if the opponent's got a unit within 12, it's 4 shots. And I use them for anti-heavy infantry. So if I got some enemy marines, space marines that are too close, terminators, there's a heavily armed target that perhaps my fire warriors are struggling to deal with a decent armor save. That's just a little bit of anti-heavy infantry. So that's the plan for them, just to something with a decent minus on that. -3 on the AP is good. And strength 6, you're going to be on freeze to wound most infantry. Virtually all infantry that's out there. So that's why I go for the plasma rifles, and it's cheaper as well. Your other option is to take the smart missile system. It's more expensive, but it's 4 shots, range 30, better range, and you're ignoring cover, and you can fire at targets you can't see. It is a very good system, so it's a difficult choice between those two. But I've stuck with plasma, so a lot of the heavier -AP weaponry is on this guy. That combination just there, those two. So those two working together, about 250 points. If you've got 4 shots here, you know, doing D6 damage a time, it's nasty enough. And then potentially a load of shots coming from the plasma, and then the smart missiles. So bristling with firepower. Other benefits, things that you can do, it's like trying to stack as many benefits as possible to get the most out of these. I take Tau Sept, and Focus Fire is very helpful. It's 3 command points, but it's on +1 to your wound rolls. So you use so a super heavy, for example, toughness 8. These are at strength 8. You're on force to wound. You can be on freeze to wound with your +1 on your wound rolls for focused fire. That really does help. So focused fire can be very helpful for them as well. So that's that combination. I know it's not as common now, and people sort of despising this loadout, but I found them all right. The key with them is to let them fire for as many turns as possible. So yes, you'll get a turn when they miss or do nothing. Other turns they'll take something out. The longer they can shoot, then the more effective they'll be. And as the turns go on, they'll have good turns, bad turns, but it starts to average out. They can contribute pretty good. So that's those two. Before I'm going to talk about something exceptionally important before I move on to the next ones. That's these here. Should maybe do a separate video on these. That's drones. So I'll just put these in here. I'll maybe do a separate video on them, but I'll just mention it here in passing. So, you know, your opponent sees this guy, he's firing at his Liam Russ. Liam Russ fires back and blows him away. So the Tau have a massive advantage in drones. So here, drone safety protocols. If whatever sept it is, infantry or sept battlesuit, which is these, unit is unit within 3 inches of a friendly drones unit. So what you'll see in the games that I do on both the channels, keep these drones next to these. If the unit is wounded, so the opponent shot at you with a las cannon, he's got his hit and got his wound against him, Then roll a d6. On a 2+, you can allocate that wound to the drone's unit instead of the target. So that las cannon has caused its wound. I'm about to make a saving throw, and I say, oh, hang on, I'm going to play Saviour Protocols here and try and get this drone to take the las cannon hit. On a 2+, it takes that hit. You know, it might have a reroll and standby for that. 2+, the las cannon is deflected away from him and he takes the hit. If you do so, that drone's unit suffers a mortal wound instead of the normal damage. So the opponent may score 6 wounds, but it's just a single mortal wound. And then with drones, yes, that Saviour Protocols will bypass his 4+ invuln save, but on a 5+, you'll ignore the damage, and so that drone's model will stay alive. But for the sake of 10 points, you're saving him, potentially. The other thing to mention is 6 wounds. He could have 1 wound left, he'll still fire at normal ballistic skill, which is also very helpful. Another thing as well, which I've done before, say you've got 2 wounds left and you want to keep them alive. 2 wounds is a bit precarious, so what you can do is use automated repair system. Pick a vehicle or a battle suit, get D3 wounds back. Very helpful for repairing these. But my main line of protection is drones. The trick with these is to make use of line of sight, blocking terrain and cover. So you put these in their elevated positions so that they can see, and then stick the drones behind them or behind cover, but still keep them within 3 inches. And that way, so you've got some cover here. I'll put this out like this. So I've got a situation like this, where I've got my battle suits in position. I then put the drones out of cover, out of sight. So they keep them within 3 inches, but hidden away, so the opponent can't see them. He'll have to try and fire them with mortars or something else. But that drastically cuts down what can fire at those drones, because a wise opponent's going to try and remove the drones and then try and take them out. So hide the drones, makes it harder to kill the drones. The opponent then fires his las cannons through, and you're just allocating the damage through to these, and it adds to their durability. So in a firefight between these and a main battle tank, the firepower's roughly the same, but these will come out on top because of those pesky drones. So in a number of games we've played, especially recently, it's it's infuriating for the opponent, but that's what tower technology is like. It irritates people, drives them mad, but it helps the tower achieve victories, helps them keep these alive. As I said at the start, if you can keep these alive for as long as possible, that just really enhances them. So a lot of tower players do it. You'll see me doing it in games. You're deploying these, and wherever these are, the drones will be nearby, and I'll try and tuck the drones away as well, hide them, let the opponent try and figure out how to kill the drones. But if he doesn't go after the drones, his nasty firepower is just going to go be deflected away onto those drones. So it's an excellent way of protecting these. So that combination of deadly firepower from them, drone protection, it's a fantastic combination for sure. But to make it work, got to keep the opponent away. So my infantry screens and so on, keeping these deployed nice and far back all helps. So the other combination, it's just an important point now, just discussing the drones, an important aspect here of taking broadsides. The other combination is these guys. So these are more of an all-round combination, excellent at all-round firepower. So anti-hordes, anti-heavy infantry for sure, and then anti-tank as well with them. So they can fire a good spread of targets and generally do pretty good against all of them. So it's sort of, in my tower army I was finding because I do use these now, I was finding a gap. I had anti-hordes with my regular infantry, pulse rifles and so on, plenty of extreme anti-tanks, so RAL rifles and so on, and in between, don't really have anything in between that. So these guys fill that gap. They can help support anti-infantry, hordes, or if I need a bit of extra anti-tank, they can supply that as well. So the combination for them is the high yield missile pods. They are more expensive, but you get 4 shots each, so 8 shots, strength 7, so 4s to wound most vehicles, AP -1, and D3 damage. So if the wounds do come through, it's between 1 and 3 wounds a time. Especially helpful against targets like Terminators. Very helpful, because you get your wound and all of a sudden D3 wounds, you're taking out those 2 wound models. Against Primaris Marines, very helpful. Then I combine that with the Seeker missiles, another 8 shots coming through. So you can plaster the opponent loads of hits. And helpful to support gun line. You know, I've got a tail gun line, they're firing. There's a Marines unit that's hidden on an objective. I can't reach it, can't see them. I could try and flush them out with the smart missile systems. So it's a helpful combination. Then I add in the Seeker missile for a bit of heavier anti-tank ability as well. So you've got access to support systems. It's a difficult choice to be made with these. Velocity tracker is a great one. Again, granting you extra the chances of hitting the target. The other one that's really good for these is advanced targeting system. Model equipped with advanced targeting system increases the AP characteristic of all of its weapons by 1. So AP 0 becomes AP -1. So imagine these guys, you know, they're on smart missile system, becomes AP -1 with those 8 shots, and the high yield missile pods AP -1 becomes AP -2. It just helps you chip the armor off targets. You know, Space Marines in cover, they get a 4-up save all of a sudden. That's really helpful against a smart missile system, or a vehicle you've wounded. It's just getting a 5-up save to try and block those D3 damage from coming through. It's a difficult choice. I wish you could take velocity tracker and the velocity tracker and also the advanced targeting system, but you can't. You're limited to one, which is tragedy. I'd love to take both. So you've got to choose one or the other. So hard choice to make. I may well try and experiment. I'll maybe go for the advanced targeting system. I just want that extra minus there when the hits do come through, and then try and use other means to try and increase their ballistic skill. So that's the combinations then. What we'll do is roll up some examples of what these can do. So we've got 2 types here. So we'll line up our crash test Rhino with some firepower. Try these guys first. So if I want, let's say I've put, in game, realistically, let's say I've got my reroll 1s. The Pharaoh's usually going to grant that. So forced to hit reroll 1s. I'm just going to fire one of them just to show you potentially what can go on. So that's your average result. A miss and a hit. 3's for a wound. And you've got the wound. No mortal wound caused though. And it's D6 damage. It's going to go straight through 3 wounds caused. So not amazing, but that process of grinding down, they're causing trouble. So that's what that weapon can do. So the plasma fires, it's reroll 1s here. We've got a hit, 5's for a wound. No, it's not really cut out for that. It's more designed for anti-heavy infantry. And the Seeker missile, we'll say that the marker light, 2 marker light hits have come through, 4's for a hit, and that's a wound, 5's for a save. No, D6 damage, another 2. So you can see the benefit of taking the Seeker missile just to put those wounds on. We'll start again. We'll say we've got the 2 of them firing now with their benefits. So 4's, rerolls, this is good. 3's for wounds, there's a mortal wound. So 1 mortal wound plus 12, so vehicle destroyed. So you see you'll get good rounds, bad rounds, but as long as you can keep them firing and the results can come through. That was a pretty amazing round there from them. So that's that anti-tank ability. They're specifically designed to take on vehicles. Then these guys, fire 1. We'll say we've got the advanced targeting system. So 4's, rerolling 1s. The reroll 1's ability really helps out. So we've got a nice lot of hits. 4's for wounds. So just the 1, 5-up save, nope, and D3 damage. So 2 wounds caused. Then you've got your smart missile system. Reroll 1s. And 5's. There's 1 and 5-up save, or 4-up save that's been passed. So they're okay against vehicles, but one of them by themselves is all right, but don't expect too much. But I take them in pairs, so we'll go for the 2 of them. So we'll go for high yield missile pods. All of a sudden, 16 shots is scary. 4's, we'll reroll a few 1s. It really does help. Yeah, generate myself an extra couple of hits there. Reroll 1s doesn't sound very much in a game, but it really does help. 4's for wounds, not too many, it's not a particularly great roll. 5s to save though with the advanced targeting system. Save 1. 2d3 damage. So that's 5 wounds, pretty good. So we've half destroyed this rhino. Smart missile system. Maybe will be helpful enough. Just taking our hits. 5s to wound. It's all good. And 4s to save. So another, even the smart missile system has caused some trouble. So almost destroyed the rhino there, the pair of them working together. And you know, they're all rounders. They're meant to be firing at vehicles, heavy infantry, regular infantry hordes and so on. But in this particular instance, they've needed to go after a vehicle and they've actually destroyed it. So happy enough. They remember the whole time trying to protect them with drones, nice range, trying to hold back and keep them safe and just let them fire each round. Alright, so just going to illustrate the diversity here. So Terminators. Let's say they've landed near to your gun line. Here they are. We'll fire both these models, well it's the same unit. You can split fire, but we'll say we'll fire both into them. So I'll go for, the choice is quite important here. High yield missile pods first. And then you use the smart missile systems to try and mop them up. So rerolling 1s, we'll say we've got that ability. I usually, most of the time, have that. 4s. So take away our misses. Reroll 1s does help get those hits, just pushes you above average. 3s to wound. This is good. And because of the advanced targeting system, -2. So these Terminators are on a 4-up save. They've saved some, but that's put them in a lot of trouble. D3 wounds. This is what can happen here. Gone. D3 wounds on the next one. Yeah, that's 2 wounds. D3 wounds on the next one, 2 wounds. And D3 wounds on the next one, 3 wounds. Just him left. And then use the smart missile systems. When this kind of thing happens, it can shock your opponent. You know, this is Terminators here, 2 wounds a time, 2 up save, and all of a sudden they're being wiped off the face of the map by these broadsides. So this is my smart missile systems I'm firing now. Got a ton of hits. 3s to wound at strength 5. And then -1, which just makes that Terminator 3-up save instead of 2-up, and he's fouled. Yeah, wiped out unit Terminators. So that's what can happen with those. It's that D3 damage and the volume of firepower, and it's withered these Terminators away and caused them a lot of trouble. Now, if that was a regular Space Marine unit, you'd be looking at virtually wiping out a squad of 10 as well with that firepower. And if you can keep that up one turn after the next, volume of firepower coming in and just grinding different targets down, then these here are pretty nasty. The danger for them is them being shot. If you have them drones nearby, cleverly placed, protecting them, then the nasty firepower that comes through, you can block with the drones, and then regular firepower, just take it on their normal save. You know, 10 saves to make of 2+, say you've got a ton of saves to make, loads of firepower, 2+, I've lost a wound. So that 2-up armor save is fantastic. So regular damage, take it on the armor, and you can use your repair stratagem to bring back lost wounds, and then anything nasty, then you can use your drones to swing in and use their saviour protocols. So I hope that's illustrated for you how I use the broadsides. That's how I use them. By all means, if you're an experienced Tau player, then leave your comments and feedback in the section below, and other subscribers and viewers can see your own Battlefield experience. But they're in my army and they seem to do pretty good. Some turns you'll see they don't do too much, other turns they do really good. So the key is just to keep them alive, one turn after the next, protect them as much as possible. And if these units are alive at the end of a game, still kicking out their firepower, and it puts the Tau in a pretty strong position. But leave your comments and feedback in the section below. If you want to see battle reports, then check out the channel here. Plenty of Tau battle reports available, and on the Plus channel as well. And as I mentioned at the start, full painting tutorial for these is on the channel here, and the in-depth painting tutorial is on the Plus channel also. And then the army development as well is there. You'll be able to see the proposed Tau list. But there it is. That is XV88 Broadsides, covered here in this tactics and showcase video. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.